watch this. Welcome to the Well Educated Heart Academy. Okay, this is the parent meeting for announcing the 2023-24 courses and schedule for the next school year. So I am very grateful for the interest and for everyone that has inquired about the things that we are doing here in the academy and so on. And I really like, it's very encouraging to see how much interest there is in these courses and this form of education, really. So during the meeting, I would appreciate, okay, if you have any questions, okay, about anything, you can put them in the chat. All right, we'll try to monitor there the chat and try to address all of your questions. Okay, hello. So we will have also a time to ask questions verbally and so on. So I'm going to give you plenty of opportunity for that. If at any time you want to open your microphone to say something, please raise your hand, the virtual hand that is. You may see at the bottom of the Zoom window a button that says reactions. And so with that one, you can have there's a raised hand there. And that the advantage of using that is that it brings you to the top of the screens here, so I can see immediately who's raising their hand. Okay, so I will appreciate that very much. And I see
Photos.
some of my students
Only
here in the meeting already, and some of the parents also of other students. So I'm very grateful for all of that, all of you joining here. So without much more ado, let's get started by sharing the presentation that I have, okay, today. So let me go over here. Okay, and we are going to also put things in the right spot so we can actually see things. Okay, and start the presentation on here. All right. So, oops, let me switch the displays. Where
Hey,
is
did you
the
go
switch
potty?
displays?
Go have Emily
Yes,
help
that
you
is,
with your pants,
I
okay?
think that is
This
so.
is super hot.
Yeah,
Go find
there
Emily.
we
She's in
go. Okay,
her bedroom.
excellent. All right. So, again, this meeting is especially dedicated for you, the parents and the families interested in the things that we have to offer for this next school year. I have to tell you how grateful I am for the support of so many families and students in this previous school year. It has been an amazing experience. We have learned a lot. We are learning a lot of things together all the time. And most of all, what I am most grateful is that we have learned very well how this system works, how these classes work, and really helping the students learn a lot, okay, on their own volition. So let me give you a caveat. I didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare much for this presentation, so there are some things that are a little, kind of rough at the edges, like this slide, for example. So these are the courses that I am going to be teaching this next school year. So I'm going to be doing Geometry 1, which is the geometry class that we are doing this year. So we are doing geometry, physics, and biology. Those are the courses that I'm currently teaching this year. And new for the following year, we are going to do an Algebra 1 course. This course is actually going to be very exciting, okay? So we are going to be using, most likely, we still need to make sure that all the stars align and everything works correctly, but we are going to be using a kind of a classical textbook on algebra, all right? So following the well-educated hard philosophy of using classics for our education, we are going to start from the very beginning, really, and go little by little building our concepts and knowledge of algebra in this way. I'm also going to be offering a course on anatomy and physiology. This is a very, very interesting course, and we are going to focus on human anatomy and the functions of the human body. And of course, like always, relating the things that we learn in all these courses with other topics, okay? Topics related to reasoning, to the gospel of Jesus Christ, to the scriptures, and to current affairs. And it is interesting to know that, yes, all of these topics kind of can be related to these things. So that is what I have in mind for this next year. Let me introduce to you some of our new teachers that are going to be joining the Academy for this next year also. So we have Trent Merrill that is here, and I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell us about your course, Trent.
All right, thanks, Pablo. As mentioned, my name is Trent Merrill. I live in Northern Virginia, outside of Washington, D.C. My wife and I have been homeschooling for over 10 years now. In fact, my oldest two kids have had classes from Dr. Pablo and Mr. Rule. So it's an honor to be here teaching with them. I'm grateful to be a part of this group. I think we're going to have a fantastic year. As a quick overview of my own background, I'm a patent attorney. I have degrees in science, engineering, law, and I'm working towards a business degree that I hope to obtain in a couple of years. I love learning. It's fascinating to me, and so that's how I've been applying it. I've had a lot of fun and interesting experiences in my career so far as a patent attorney, and working with some really cool technologies, working with great inventors. I'm excited to share some of my stories and experiences with students next year. I'll be teaching an innovation course, and my course is really aimed to inspire your students to see what they can do to make the world a better place around them. We'll be teaching skills that will help them take their ideas to the next level. I think a lot of kids, a lot of students have ideas, and that's kind of where they end. I want to show them what the next steps could be to keep pushing those ideas, to keep building on their creativity and kind of foster that excitement for what can happen next. We also would like to, we'll be focusing on the traits and characteristics of exceptional innovators and how we can foster those traits within ourselves. I'll be teaching the students the same problem solution techniques that have led to many world and life-changing innovations and inventions, things that the inventors I work with every day are doing to kind of foster their own creativity and to build to the future. I'm going to be, as my slide shows, my course will have 3 sections. The first 14 weeks, roughly, will be talking about historical and modern technologies and the innovators that are responsible for those technologies. We'll examine the traits and characteristics of those figures and learn, what can we learn from them. I think a lot of the inventors that we'll talk about kind of fall into one of 2 categories. The first category, the inventors are trained in math, physics, science, and engineering, and their inventions are part of their everyday job, kind of this things that they're studying for their career. The other category of inventors that we'll focus on are those that had an idea or had this epiphany or this light bulb moment and then had to go out and learn the math, the physics, the engineering, or the science to help bring those ideas to life. And I think this part of the course could be sort of a back door for your students that are interested in gadgets and tinkering and those things, but might not like science or engineering or math. This might help them understand the importance of learning those things so that they can bring their ideas to life. So the second section, we'll talk about intellectual property. That's sort of my wheelhouse. That's what I do. Students will be, I'll teach them how to read and understand judicial opinions. We'll read some of the landmark cases that have shaped intellectual property law in the United States. And I guess just note, no prior experience is needed for this. Some of the judicial opinions are difficult to read, but I'll provide and teach the necessary background to help the students understand most of the topics that we'll cover. We can go as fast as we want. We can go as slow as we need to make sure everybody's understanding and kind of grasping the importance of those things. And then we'll conclude our year by examining different business models and different methods for generating income. Once you have that intellectual property, what can you do with it? And then for our homework, I'm going to challenge the students to take a daily journal or keep a daily journal on, what are some of the daily problems you encounter and what are some solutions, trying to train their mind to think of that problem solution. What can we do to make the world around us better? We'll perform prior art searching to help understand whether or not their ideas are patentable. And then I'll teach them how to draft portions of a patent, not the entire patent itself, but just portions of it so they can kind of have a better understanding of what comes next along that process. Homework will be assigned. We'll be reading books. We'll be reading journals, case studies, court decisions. Homework might include podcast episodes, YouTube clips. I plan on interviewing a lot of the inventors that I've worked with just to see, how they went from a teenager that was interested in these things to becoming an inventor. And I think using those different mediums, we'll be able to reach everybody, reach different people, and find what they like to do and what they like to learn. I'm really excited about it. This is something I love. It's a second career for me. I found patent law and it's really awesome to me. So I'm excited to share that with your students. I'm not sure who comes next, Pablo, but that's it for my innovation course. I think we're going to have a great year. It'll be fun.
Thank you so much, Trent. Appreciate it. Okay, so let's see. Next, we have the Ty Crossley. Okay, Ty, introduce yourself and your family and your course.
Okay, great. Well, first I want to say I'd like to take Trent's course. That sounds fantastic. Sign me up. I'm excited to introduce myself to you and tell you what I'll be doing this year. This is my beautiful family. I have been teaching at American Heritage School for the last 10 years, and I teach 7th grade history, language, and literature, and then I teach a 9th and 10th grade history class. And so I'm still going to be teaching full time at the school, but I'm offering a course that would be after school hours. So I think it's set up for 4 o'clock in the afternoon, hoping that will work with your schedules. But the title of the course is Discovering True Identity Through Christ-Centered Literature. And so we'll be covering some of the titles that are on the screen there. I feel like they're just gems, and they're courses, they're books that all spectrum of ages have enjoyed, from middle school to adults. And it's a wonderful experience to go through the 4Ring process of discovering principles of truth and relating them to ourselves and finding meaningful ways to record. One of the things that I love is this quote by Ezra Taft Benson that he said, "Today, with the abundance of books available, it is the mark of a truly educated man or woman to know what not to read." And I can tell you that these books are phenomenal, and the goal is, of course, to help the children and those that participate to gain a deeper understanding of who they are in the eyes of God, and to understand what they can do to gain respect in our world today. So my introduction is really simple. That's what I'm going to be doing this year. We'll be reading these books that are on the screen, as well as a couple of short stories.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Tara is asking a very, very important question, okay? And let me address it right away. She asked, what ages or levels are each of these courses good for? Okay, let me tell you, this is one of the things that I am most excited about in what we have learned this past year with these classes, okay? The courses are open to everyone that wants to learn. That's it. Those are the requirements, okay? So, of course, we are focusing on high school students, but we have had many middle school students that are prepared, that have been prepared, and they are eager to learn, and they do fantastic in these courses. We also open our courses to you, the parents, okay? And we have had several parents joining in our courses and studying and learning along the side with the younger students, and they are having a great experience. So I think that is one of the things that I'm most excited about here. We are not going for ages or levels. We are actually going for interest, okay? If the student wants to learn, there's nothing to stop them, really, okay? And so that is our aim, okay? If you want to have kind of a further, kind of a consultation with the teacher about a particular course and your particular student, whether, we are certainly willing to schedule a Zoom meeting with you and your student, and then we can kind of do an assessment of the level of interest. What is the commitment here? Okay. One of the highlights of these courses is really that we want students who want to learn, who are willing to learn. Okay. So that is a very, very important point. So thank you for that question. Let me go now to the next slide, okay, and introduce you here to Mr. Rule.
Hello, everyone. It's so wonderful to be with you. I am Rule Haymond. This is a portion of my family. I have a daughter and her husband and 4 children that live back in Florida. So they didn't make it to this family reunion in Panguitch, Utah. I've been married for 32 years, wonderful wife, beautiful family. And I've been studying and teaching the classics for over 20 years. So lately I've been at American Heritage with Ty, Mr. Crossley. I've been there for about 16, 17 years. The last 3 years, primarily online, which has given me a real understanding of the online classroom. And Dr. Pablo and I were talking about this the other day. We almost like it better. I know that sounds really strange. The only thing I miss is the food. Because with my students, we cook a lot and we eat a lot and we play a lot. So we're hoping that one day we'll have enough students where we can go and actually meet in person for different events and have activities. But I've been teaching constitutional law, economics, political economy, literature, debate, Spanish for many, many years, online as well. And it's a thrill, and I'm very, very grateful. I do have some homeschooling groups here locally in Utah that I meet with personally, and in every meeting we have food, and it is wonderful because the scriptures are very clear. It's by their food you shall know them. And so good food, good person, bad food, bad person. That's really how we judge people around here. I'm kidding. I also, I run a small charity where I travel the world. The world's an interesting place right now, but we are taking off for Guatemala in a couple of weeks, taking 24 people down to serve. So it's service learning, lots of opportunities there. As I say, I'm grateful to live at this time. And the classes I'll be teaching, in fact, Pablo, if you want to show them the roots of Americans' ordered liberty. It's an interesting, this Roe versus Wade overturn. I would ask you to read at least portions of the majority opinion. I don't know how many times they say America's ordered liberty, that basically abortion is contrary to America's conscience. This is in the majority opinion, that it's against our history. And it's fascinating. So I'm really kind of taking ordered liberty from the language of the justices in that decision. And this is a course we're going to be using a Roots of American Order and the Story of Liberty primarily. These others will be, secondary sources to look at. But weekly activities, videos, readings, we'll have debates, some scheduled, some spontaneous on particular points of learning. So we're going to be going from the Old Testament through the Reformation, well, actually to the Magna Carta, through the Reformation, to the founding of America. If there's time, we might jump into the founding of each American colony in a wonderful book called Sweet Land of Liberty by Charles Coffin. Lots of inspiration, lots of smiles. Let's go to the next one, Dr. Pablo. Spanish 1. So I've been teaching Spanish online this last year, and I really think I have found a nice recipe for actually learning the language and learning it when I only meet with my students once a week. And I have many of them reading impeccably, translating, and starting to speak. It's really, speaking, of course, is the hardest one, but we'll be doing daily translations of classic readings. We'll be reading, of course, pronunciation, comprehension recordings, lots of cultural and historical learnings as well. They'll be learning about all different aspects of about 20 different countries. And what I would love to see eventually is if it works out, to actually do some type of a humanitarian trip together. And it could be here locally in the States, it could be in Mexico, it could be in Guatemala. It just depends on what's happening in the world and where we're at. But I'm excited about this course, Hablando Español. Okay, let's go to the next one, Dr. Pablo. Now, I'm really excited about this. One of the biggest challenges we face in the world, and one of the reasons we repeat history, is we really don't like to relate it. We don't like to say, I'm looking at this situation, I'm looking what's happening. How does it apply in my world? Who are the people? What are the are we doing the same thing that Rome did or that Greece did? And when we start to see that we do, people kind of want to plug the ears and say, no, I don't want to know anymore. But ultimately, we have to be able to know to some degree. So we're going to be using the 28 principles of the 5,000-year leap, classic text, but looking at Supreme Court decisions, looking at historical events, trying to understand how it applies in our day and how we can find hope and prosperity and joy living the principles now, which I think is really significant. I like the question about age. One of the challenges is, some of these things bring up topics that are difficult. I try to speak in parables. If I'm working with younger students, I've got a homeschooling group of about 30 kids. The youngest is 10 or 11. I've got 2 or 3 of them. And I can see sometimes it goes right over their head, and that's okay. That's where it needs to go, right over their head. But I try to speak in a way that respects their innocence, respects their age. If there are topics that might be a little concerning or potentially, something in a book that could be troubling, I will let parents know in advance, or as students as well. But we typically don't need to really go there. There's enough good content, great stories to help protect but also provide powerful insight, principles, reasoning, and so forth, so students can discern truth for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me do this now. I need to kind of escape from the presentation, okay, in order to let Mr. Andy give us his introduction and course description.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andy Haymond. I love this picture because it describes life with grandchildren. If you have children, young children or grandchildren, you understand what I mean. But that's kind of my life right now. I have grandchildren nearby and I enjoy them a lot. One of the reasons why I'm interested in teaching homeschooling is because I'm concerned about the education of these children. Luckily, my own children are old enough to avoid many of the perils of a public school. And I'm not sure that my grandchildren are going to be that lucky. I'm hoping that being involved in homeschooling will prompt them to follow what I'm doing. I've been married for 36 years to a wonderful woman. I love to cook and continue to do that, even though professionally I'm now in IT, where I actually learned that I have a passion for teaching leadership. I began my journey by trying to improve myself and found that many people are interested in doing the same thing and they don't know where to start, don't know how to do it. I wish I would have learned a little bit sooner than 50 years old. And one of the reasons I want to teach this course in leadership skills for life is that I believe these things can be learned and should be learned, or at least introduced at a much younger age than I was. The course is broken up into two parts. The first half of the year is on self-leadership and all the things that I guess people don't understand, especially youth, don't understand about many of the issues going on in this world are based on decisions that they make themselves. So this course goes into personal responsibility and self-worth and self-confidence and self-respect and integrity. And you learn from the books, great books through the years, great leaders. You learn to understand the people around you that are good examples of leadership and how to embrace those parts that are good and to incorporate them into your lives. The second half of the course is called team leadership, understanding that you need to understand yourself before you can become any kind of leader in a team. And a team can be a family, it could be a church group, it could be school, your friends at school. It doesn't have to be a formal position such as in an occupation. The people that understand themselves make really great leaders in a team environment because they're comfortable in their own skin. They've made those decisions before situations arrive in their life to tempt them or steer them in a wrong direction. And they're able to make the correct decisions based on things they've learned in their life, and they've always already answered those questions. It's a great opportunity to be an example, especially as a youth, for children that may not have those type of mentors in their life. Each week they'll be learning different topics, including in watching some videos, reading books. We'll have writing assignments. Part of the end of the course will include, I'm hoping, I'm still getting into the online teaching. I would like to create a project management type of thing so they can have an activity where they actually are leading a project within a small group of students, and everyone gets that opportunity. So they kind of rotate. So each one has a chance to be a leader. Each one has a chance to be part of a team and maybe not be the leader. And how does that feel? depending on what you bring to the team for this project, and learning to work and collaborate and understand that everybody has an opportunity to learn for each of us from each other. I consider this something that I would have loved to have learned as a youth. And those are the things I want to share. And I'm really excited to be part of Pablo's Academy, where we focus on the classics and we focus on the youth. And I'm really looking forward to this chance.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Okay. I appreciate it. Sorry, we have to go so fast. Okay. We would love to hear more about each one of these courses and everything. Jamie was asking if I would recommend geometry or algebra first. Okay. I really don't know. Okay. I actually would probably leave that decision more to the student. Okay. To see both courses are going to start from the beginning of each one of those topics. Okay. And they really are very, very complementary. So that is kind of what I would say for that. I would like, if it's okay, to give some time here to Marlene Peterson, if it's all right. She is the founder of the Well-Educated Heart Network. And I would like you, Marlene, if you can express some of your vision and ideas and thoughts of the Academy. If that is all right. This is unrehearsed.
Sure. My daughter just texted me and she said, "Mom, I want to take all the classes." And that's how I feel too, that what a lineup. And I just sit here and I pinch myself when I had this idea for an academy, or I wanted an experience like I had read about with the Saracens, where you match teachers who have a passion to learn, to teach something, with students who have a passion to want to learn it, without the middleman, without an administrator telling you what you have to do, or the worry about grades or pressures of tests. To be able to allow students that freedom to learn for the love of learning, and to have mentors and teachers that will, they're not there to catch them not doing their homework. They are there to help them learn whatever they're willing to learn, and they're patient, and however fast they need to go, they'll do it. And these men, I met with them last week. I just left that meeting going, wow. I told him, if I had done some kind of an interview process and had interviewed thousands of people, they would have been like the cream of the crop that would have come up to the surface. And they just have come. And I have other people that have come and said that they would like to teach, and our academy can grow according to you. If we have the students to support it, we'll keep growing this with the kinds of classes that your students want. And these men, if any of you happen to see the Dr. Neufeld video that I recommended today, he said the foundation of all learning is love. And science doesn't like to put that word to it, but love is the key. And these men, they love. And I'm so grateful to them. I'm grateful to Dr. Pablo for heading this up and for all they're doing. So really, it's up to you. If this academy is to fly, it will be your support. And Mr. Haymond and I have been talking about something for you mothers that I am super excited to announce very soon, right, Ruel? And so just lots of things. Keep connected to the groups. I'm sure Dr. Pablo will tell you where to connect in the Mighty Network, so that you can that you won't miss any of the announcements. But just so grateful, so excited, and thank you all.
Thank you so much, Marlene. Appreciate it. And nothing none of this would have happened without your support and all the work that you have done throughout the years in setting out the philosophy of the well-educated heart, the resources of the well-educated heart, and the amazing network of families for that.
And can I just add, for you women, these men have been through, have either completed or are going through Catch the Vision. That's so fun to get a text from Rule and say, wow, I just saw this. And so, their hearts are with us. They know what we're about here. And
It's not just the Catch the Vision. I'm listening to every single podcast she's ever produced. And I've got my notebook out and I am writing feverishly, but can I just add something, Pablo, to what Marlene has done? It was interesting. I was at a meeting, for a volunteer meeting with an organization here in Orem, Utah, and there was a young BYU student sitting next to me, and I asked her what she wanted to do with her life. What was she studying? And she said, I'm going to get a master's degree at Gonzaga University, and I'm going to be looking at suicide prevention as a major focus of my life. And without hesitation, I became Marlene Peterson, and I said, you've got to tell them stories. You've got to tell them stories. You've got to tell them things that will change their lives. I taught special ed years ago. And I remember in the schools, Box Elder High School and Bear River High School, they would let me alone because no one wanted to have these kids. These kids came from broken homes, drug addict parents, all sorts of challenges. But they were like kittens in my hand when I would tell them stories, moral stories. That's what they needed to hear. Years ago, and again, I'm going back to the simple idea of a story. I was standing around a square foot garden in Guatemala. And my friend said to me and my students, okay, define poverty. And we said, well, no running water, not enough money, no air conditioning. And he said, do you know what people in poverty say poverty is? We're like, no. Despair, hopelessness, shame. So I'm sharing this with this girl that's going to do suicide prevention. Embarrassment, lack of self-worth. 60%, a friend in Africa told me 60% of poverty is internal. And great literature, great mentors, which are great literature, and great people that love God, that love truth. If we can get people, because you got a lot of people in our society in nice homes in America that are filled with poverty. And some of our kids are struggling with that. And so the whole idea of a well-educated heart is, holy moly, filling them with so many ideas and stories that in times of crisis, when things are hard, they can catch hold. Oh, that example, the Dr. Pablo, I can apply that right now. Okay, I'm not so scared anymore. I'm not so embarrassed. I'm not as anxious. I see my purpose more clearly. So I don't think we can overestimate or underestimate, I should say. I think we do underestimate the power of the types of things that Marlene Peterson and many others have been teaching for so long. So thank you so much.
Pablo, your sound's not on. You're talking, but we can't hear you.
There you go. Oh, okay. I had a little coughing fit, and so I had to mute myself. So let me share with you now the schedule of what we have planned for the classes for next year. Okay. So this is the weekly schedule that we are planning when are we offering our classes. These are all Mountain Time, okay? So, and I know that this is a little early, okay? It's earlier than what we have been doing this year, but I hope that for the Utah students, the Pacific Coast students, this is still all right, an all right time for the classes. So I'm going to be publishing this, all right? So no need to, kind of worry too much about writing things down. But I wanted to make sure that we announce the time of when we are trying to offer these courses, okay? So like Ty mentioned, his course is going to be in the afternoon. I thought that it was at 5, but I may be wrong. Ty, did you want it to be at 4?
I think I was planning on 4 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay, so then it would be at 4 from 4 to 5 Mountain Time. Okay, all right. Rule, did I get everything correct in your courses? Okay, all right. Everything. All right, good. That's amazing that I get things right. So,
Pablo,
yes.
and talking, because I do work full time, and talking with my supervisor, he said we can arrange it any day, anytime on Friday would work. So if there's a group that the morning doesn't work, I can do the afternoon instead also. So I'm kind of open right now.
Okay, excellent. So
I can be flexible as well to a degree. So
okay, so what we will be doing is during this period of time between, basically between now and the end of May, when we finish this current school year, we can run some polls and some questions and answers and so on for you to connect with each individual teacher, each one of us, and ask questions and everything, and we will be able to do that. Okay, so let's see. Oh, yes, Montserrat. Okay, this is killing me. Okay, I understand how it goes. All right. And I knew that this was going to be pretty hard for several. So that is the trick. Okay. So we have, seminary early in the morning and conflicts and this type of thing. So it's always tough to do this type of things. Now, Connie is asking, will the math classes prepare high school students for the ACT test? Like, yeah. So these math classes are going to prepare the students for all of life, really. Okay. So my hope over the next future years is to develop a second class in geometry following Euclid's book. Okay, so Emma, I saw you smiling there. So we'll be doing that, and hopefully also developing trigonometry and even a calculus course. And actually, I would love to make an ACT preparation course. Okay. All in good time. Okay, so it takes a lot of resources to share this, to create these courses. So what are the books being used for the math and science classes? For the geometry class, we are using the most successful textbook ever written, which is The Elements of Geometry by Euclid. Okay, so, and I have said this many times, so I see my students smiling about that. Okay, but it is a fascinating textbook, and the students actually, I've seen it today. Okay, one of them was taking a nap with the book under his head. Okay, so this is really good. In the algebra course, we are still trying to figure out which textbook to use, but most likely is going to be a textbook called Algebra for the Practical Man. In the science courses for biology, we are using Concepts of Biology, which is an OpenStack textbook. It's very economical and very good, very up to date. And for physics, we are using Conceptual Physics by Hewitt, a classic textbook on physics. And then for anatomy and physiology, we're going to actually be using coloring books. We are actually going to learn anatomy and physiology coloring. So it's going to be very, very good experience. Okay. So let me share a couple of other things, okay, that I have here in the presentation. So this is the tuition plans that we have for this coming year, okay? So the courses, the year-long courses, course per student per course is going to be $600, or for the semester courses is going to be $300, okay? So some of the courses are going to be a year-long, most of them are year-long courses, 32 weeks of content. We have some courses that are 16-week courses, okay? So there's two ways that you can enroll and register for these courses. One is paying yearly tuition, which will starting in June of 2023. We cannot start registering totally, start paying the tuition, because the way that the software works is that when you pay tuition, you get access to the course for a calendar year, okay? And there's not much I can do about that. And so I cannot have you start registering beforehand, but there is a way that we are going to do kind of a pre-registration type of thing. The advantages of doing the yearly registration is that you get priority seating to the course. The courses have a limit, okay, of students. So those who pay the yearly registration have priority. Then also we are offering a discount for those who pay the yearly registration. And also, if you pay the yearly registration, you get a receipt, okay? I didn't realize how important this was for many families, but I came to learn that a lot of families are able to get reimbursement from another local charter school or some other arrangement with the state, where they are able to get reimbursement for the courses, but they need an itemized receipt. And so we are willing to give a receipt for reimbursement for all those students who register for do the yearly registration. I cannot do these receipts for the monthly registration because it would drive me nuts, okay? So that's the thing. And also you cannot actually do the monthly reimbursement thing. So that is how it goes. For the monthly registration, we are also going to start the monthly registration on May, okay? So on June, sorry. So if you register on June of 2023 to May of 2024, then you would pay $50 per month per course, okay? If you register in July to May, that would be $55. If you register from August to May, it would be $60. And September to May, this is kind of like, okay, if you're really late, right, and you really want to register, that would be $67 per month. And of course, it's basically the same amount, okay? It's just less months, all right? So that is kind of how it works. So that is the idea. Okay, I think that is so the pre-registration that we have. I'm going to finish creating this pre-registration site in the network. Okay, let me share with you what I have in mind for this. So in the Mighty Networks, in the Academy website, we are going to have a collection of kind of groups called the 2023-24 pre-registration. And here we are going to start adding, we are going to add all the courses that are going to be available, okay? And so the idea will be for you to come, if you are interested in these courses, in a particular course, you can come here and pre-register. This is going to help us gauge the interest in the courses, how many students we are expecting to have in the courses, and then also it will be a good way for you to start communicating with the individual teachers if you have any questions or comments and so on, and the teachers are going to start putting more information about their courses in here. These are not the courses themselves. The courses themselves are going to be in a separate place, but we are not opening the registration, for you to pay for the courses until June 1st. Okay, so does that make sense how it's going to work? Okay, yeah, all right. So I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to be adding more of this, and then you can start, enrolling, if you wish, doing the pre-registration by coming here and joining the courses that you would like to take next year. All right. So that is what I have as far as information. Let me go here to the chat and start answering some of the questions. Okay, let's see. Is it possible that you will end up creating second periods of the same class if you have a lot of students sign up? Okay, we have seminary at 8 Mountain Time also. We are going to try. Okay, so depends on our personal flexibility and schedules. All right, so this year I have done my courses from 9 to 10 and then in the afternoon, but the thing was that my employer, the person that employs me full-time, has basically given me permission to do it this year because I started working for them after I committed to the courses. Okay, so we will see. All right, in this following year, I have to be more personally. Okay, I need to manage my schedule a little differently. Okay, because of that. Eventually, at some point in time, I would love for me and many of our teachers to be able to do this full time. Okay, and that a lot depends on the interest and the amount of students that we have. Okay. Another question, Rob and Shannon ask, do you have a suggestion for order to take the science classes? And I really don't, okay? I actually think that, again, the main recommendation there is on the level of interest of the student, okay? So as we put these courses out, we are going to put kind of a description of the courses and more information about what they are and everything. And my recommendation is to let the natural inclination of your students to decide that. Okay, so I think that is very important. So let's see. So some of our teachers will be able to also, depending again on interest, to offer a second period or another time frame. All right. And so again, our goal is during this pre-registration time to be able to gauge that amount and level of interest, and then see what are the times that would be best and so on, in order to accommodate most students. Jared is asking, how many classes should one person take? Is it wise to have a limit? Okay. And I actually say yes. All right. There's a couple of things that we need to consider. These classes are involved. Okay. These classes, these are not an easy picnic of classes. All right. And so on the one hand, I really would not want students to feel burned out because they are taking too many classes at the same time. Okay. The other thing to consider is that these are online classes. Okay. And a lot of the study happens on an individual basis. And a lot of the study also happens online, doing things on the computer. We try to minimize that by adding textbooks, adding notebooks on where, to take notes outside of the computer and so on. But mainly, we want you to have a life also outside of online classes. Okay. And so my recommendation is that you consider those factors and decide how many classes your students should take, okay, in this online environment. We do not see this academy as a replacement for homeschooling. Okay. Let that be sunk, okay, in your consciousness. We don't want to replace you. We want to complement what you do. So we want to leave you to teach and keep homeschooling your students the best way you can in the best topics that you want to do and so on. And let us help you, okay? So we want to make sure that we are here to support and to help, not to replace, all right? Another thing to consider about this particular issue is that is one of the reasons why we invite also parents to take these courses. So if you are interested in any of these courses, take the course with us, okay? And then hopefully you will be prepared and ready to teach your children the same course, okay? We don't mind, all right, at all, okay? We would love for that to happen, okay? And so that is one of the things that is very important on that. I think that, in my courses, for example, I ask the students to take notes in a notebook of what they are learning and to then share their notes with me. Okay. One of the students asked, several actually of the students asked, how many notes should I take? What should I do for my notes? Okay. And did you ask me that, Emma? Was that one of you? Okay. All right. What was my response to you on that?
Mm-hmm. You said that was up to me. I get to choose how detailed my notes are, how I want to write it out. You said that I should write it in a way that if I were to teach somebody else, I would be able to go back on these notes and remember what I had learned.
Excellent. And Emma does beautiful and very complete notes for her class, all right? And that is the trick, really. So that is, we don't want the students to spend an inordinate amount of time. We normally want to say you shouldn't spend more than 3 to 4 hours per course per week. Okay, some students are able to do it faster. Some students get a little distracted and do it slower, right? But that is kind of how we aim to put the content for these courses. Okay, Zach, what has been your experience with your course?
I like it.
Thank you for that that endorsement. Okay, we'll arrange for the payout. Okay, later. Very eloquently said. Thank you. Like I said, this is all unrehearsed, so I put you on the spot here.
Well, and we're here ready to take more. So, or he's ready to take more. I would like to take more.
Great, excellent, excellent. So Tara is asking which classes are semester classes and which classes are yearly classes. Most of the classes, like I said, are yearly classes. My understanding is that Andy, your leadership course is a semester course. Is that correct?
No, it's a year.
Oh, it's also a year. Okay. Do we have any semester courses? I don't think so. No, okay, so scratch the semester stuff, okay?
I had proposed a couple, but we decided just to go with the one, so.
Okay, all right, excellent. Okay, see, I forget about that. Thank you, Ty, for correcting me. All right, so I think that all of us as teachers, we are open about teaching more, offering more sections of the course, okay? Butterfield is asking, are you offering your pre-recorded classes from this past year? Yes, that is something that actually I forgot to put in the presentation, but the geometry course, biology, and physics will be available kind of as a self-paced course at a discounted fee. Okay, so those courses will be available also for students that want to do it on their own. All right, so basically, if you cannot feed the class because of schedule problems or something like that, you can still take the course without necessarily participating on the live class, okay? We still expect the assignments to be turned in, and we still give feedback on the assignments. And we still are available if the students want to meet one-on-one or something, to discuss things, to chat and so on. We are certainly willing to do all that. So that is also another option. The good thing is that these courses that we have already taught this past year, biology, physics, and geometry, what we are doing is we are compiling the class recordings and extracting the good parts, basically, okay? And so those will be available for the students that are doing the self-paced mode, okay? So that is something that is available also, that is going to be there. Okay, let me see if I have to. Some of our students currently this year are taking the course that way. Okay, for some reason they cannot attend the live class, and so they are already participating that way and learning a lot and enjoying the opportunity. They also share their notes and I give them feedback and everything. And so that is still a very feasible way of doing it. Is there a maximum number of students per class? Yes, there is a maximum number. is not set in stone yet, okay? But we have discovered from this experience that, you know, for an online class to run really, really well, you need actually a lot of students, okay? And so having more students actually makes the class more interesting, more engaging, and better, all right? And so that is something that we are going to be watching for and setting. But I'm not ready to say exactly what is the cutoff at this time. Okay. Deborah asked, what is the weekly time commitment with homework for the classes? All the courses are designed so a student, a regular dedicated student that is not texting or watching YouTube in the middle or getting distracted otherwise should be able to finish all their weekly assignments in about 3 to 4 hours. Okay, so that is kind of the aim of us.
Although, could I just mention there, even right now, I with the school that I'm one of the schools I work with, we do about 2 to 3 hours. So basically it might vary a little bit depending on the subject and so forth. So
absolutely, yes. So how has it been for you? For I see some of my students here. Okay, how many hours has it been for you of homework or study time per week? So far, Montserrat, Marcy, if you can, Emma, if you can.
I can share for Sophie. It we live in the Eastern time zone over here, so it's late right now. So all you mountain people over there, just know that she goes to seminary at 5:50. So I just wanted you guys to feel her pain. But also she does about 3 to 4 hours of work, and she's in the geometry class. And we just break it up and do like a half an hour to 45 minutes or so per day on like 4 of the school days, and it works out really well, and it's not too much. So
excellent. Thank you. Sophie is doing fantastic, really.
great. Yeah, thanks for all your help. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Montserrat, what has been for you your experience with the course?
For me, it takes about 3 hours a week outside of the actual class time. But I quite enjoy learning. I was up late last night trying to catch up because I was gone last week. So about 3 to 4 hours.
Excellent. So I think that we are kind of in the right track. Okay. The yearly schedule, I'm going to prepare the yearly schedule as soon as I can, okay, and publish that. But yes, the classes are basically from September, really beginning of September or late August to the end of May. And we have 32 weeks of classes. We have a fall break. And the interesting thing is that whenever we don't take holidays off, okay, individual holidays. When we take a break, is the whole week, okay, because it's better to accommodate the vacation and everything, okay. So we don't want to. And also because all the courses are taught just once a week, all right? And so we want to make sure that it's the whole week. So we have 1 week off in the fall around October, okay? We have another week off for Thanksgiving break. We have 2 weeks off for the Christmas break. And then we have a week off for winter break, which is kind of a unique thing around February. And then we have a spring break in April, early April. And then with that, we finish the 32 weeks at the end of May. All right. So that is the yearly time. thank you, Michelle. She put here in the chat that she has had her children, okay, have had classes both with me and with Mr. Rule, and they have enjoyed that. We really have enjoyed having them in the classes. Okay, let's see. The Holkers are asking, would there be an opportunity for sibling discounts, more than one sibling taking the same course at the same time? So I really have a struggle with this, but the answer to that at this point is I can't, okay? And it's not because I don't want to, it's actually because of how the software works, right? So the software doesn't work very well for this type of, multiple family enrollments or discounts that way and so on. So at this point, I have to say, I cannot do it, okay? The Mighty Network software that we are using is actually very helpful for everyone. It has worked okay, but that is kind of one of the problems, is that it's geared towards adults enrolling in these courses, and so not for families really, all right? And so that is kind of the issue. We have had many siblings taking the class together, okay? And so that is fine for siblings to take the class together, but I cannot, at this point, I don't know if I can arrange that. We'll keep studying the issue. So the Bajans are asking, will you describe your classes more, or how we should learn a little more about them? So I'm going to be putting more as time permits, okay, putting more description of these classes in the pre-registration website, okay? So, but basically, the geometry course is a course mostly about learning how to reason, how to think. It's less on the math and more on the reasoning and thinking. Biology is a fascinating course. We studied about organic chemistry, molecular biology, the cell reproduction, organisms, the theory of evolution, and all of those things together with principles of the gospel, which is amazing, really. The physics course is also very conceptual. We are not dealing a lot with the math of physics, but we are learning the concepts of physics. And it is an introductory course. Okay, so we go really from the beginning. There's no prerequisites necessary for that. And we go as far as the interest of the students go. So all the students are encouraged to study topics, deep dive on different topics, and do presentations on those. Okay.
Pablo, could I share a thought on one of your classes real quick?
Yes, please.
Just a plug for the Euclidean geometry. I just sent an article to Dr. Pablo called Euclid as a Founder. And it talks about the influence of Euclid on John Locke, who influenced greatly the founding generation. Thomas Jefferson. Lincoln actually took weeks off when he was struggling in law school, went home and he memorized the first 6 books, all the propositions. And as you study particularly some of his speeches, a House Divided speech, his debates with Stephen Douglas, and the Cooper Institute speech of 1860, you can see the influence of Euclid on him. He rarely lost a case or even an argument. It was so clear. And we're living at a time right now where reason is now below passion and appetite. There's a professor that came and spoke at a local university and said, we're in big trouble because as a nation, we're being taught to emote. Emotion, anger, passions. which really muddy the waters of what's right, what's real, what's good, what's bad. So Euclid basically creates a situation where you can become someone who, I mean, and this might be an exaggeration, when you share a truth, it will be very difficult to not believe what you're saying because it is so sound. So anyway, that's one of the benefits on the founding generation of the class that Dr. Pablo is teaching.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talk about that, okay, in our course this morning. Okay. Emma, would you want to tell us again what you share in class this morning?
Well, I had an experience yesterday when I was thinking about something completely unrelated from geometry. And it was interesting as I was thinking through this this concept that I was thinking about. And I realized that I was using the same methods, the same reasoning that I use when I'm studying one of Euclid's propositions. And it was just really cool to see how the Euclidean geometry and that reasoning has been working in my life and how I can use it on topics completely unrelated from geometry.
Yeah. So Lincoln called Euclid mechanical law.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me see. Melanie is asking, will there be lab periods when teachers are available to take questions, or is just 1 hour lecture? So we try to use a very Socratic approach to our classes. Okay, we ask questions. We entertain questions from the students. We try to really involve the students as much as possible and lecture as little as possible. However, having said that, also, one of the things that we have experimented with this past year is having 1 hour of the live class and then what we call the second hour afterwards, where the students stay in the online class together and they are able to start studying the next lesson, okay? And that is also an opportunity for the students, not only just to get going with the next week's lesson, also to catch up, but also it's a time where they can meet with the teachers one-on-one. They can go to a breakout room and meet with the teacher to ask questions, to look at different problems or issues and so on. Or they can actually go to a breakout room and meet with other students, okay, and study together, okay? So study or talk or do whatever they want to do there. We have also found that is a quite an enriching experience. It's a good social time. It's a time for the students to kind of hang out together and be able to do things and start working on the following lesson. So we are hoping and planning to continue with that, okay? The other thing, of course, if the students have questions, they can always reach out to the students through chat or email. The Mighty Networks software has a very powerful and convenient way for the students to communicate with each other and with their teachers. And we are able to respond very, very fast, appropriately. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's see, Sarah also mentions about the interactivity in the class. Marcy, you said, okay, it has been fun to take the biology course as an adult. Have been so enriched and inspired. Highly recommend making time for learning alongside the students this way. Marcy, you not only are taking one course, but your children are taking courses. Okay, how has it been for you, especially, for how much has been your involvement as a parent in helping your children with the courses, Natalie and Luke?
I feel like because we kind of are doing this together but independently, that it feels like we're having this shared experience. And so it's motivating to all of us to be doing that together. And so I don't feel like I have to tell them to do their homework much. They're motivated to do it on their own because they love it. And they inspire me to keep up too. So because it is a stretch for me to make time for it. I'm a little behind right now. So it's been, mutually beneficial for us. They see me working hard. I see them working hard, and it's been fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
Pablo,
Marcy.
Can I just interject something before I forget? Just to be clear, so several of you have mentioned that we tie this to the gospel of Jesus Christ, and we do. I've told these instructors faith and God is all part of this, but they're also very mindful this is a multi-faith group, so this is not specific for an LDS group, if that makes sense, if anybody's wondering about that.
Yes, absolutely. And we invite people of all faiths, okay, to our classes and to discuss things and so on. And it has been also a very, very good and ecumenical effort, really. And we hope to even enlarge that more, okay, to reach out to people of other faiths even more. Excellent. Thank you, Marlene, for adding that. Someone is asking if a student is in a course and has to miss a class, or are any of those current classes recorded and able to watch? Yes. Okay. So all the classes are recorded and then they are posted in the software. So you can always go and rewatch watch any classes that you have missed. Okay. So that is great. Okay, Summer says my children have also enjoyed learning. Thank you. Will the self-paced classes be the same price as the live classes? I'm hoping to actually offer the self-paced classes at a discount. Okay, and hope to do that. I need to calculate exactly how much to do it, but that will be coming up. So I'm really hoping to do it that way. It's not really because there's any difference in the effort. Okay, so I'm still going to give feedback to the students and meet with the students whenever they need to and answer their questions and so on. But I realize that sometimes being able to have a different price point may be the best option for some families. Okay, so that is why we want to do that also. Shannon asks, for those who have been taking classes this year, how has been your experience interacting with other students in class? Are you able to interact and enjoy each other? Okay, so any of the current students, if you want to answer that question, you are welcome. Okay, to unmute yourself and do that. Okay. All right. So as far as the time goes, Sarah? You raise your hand. Go ahead.
I am Megan, just so you know.
Oh,
Sarah,
Megan, excellent. Yes.
well, what specifically was the question? It was, how are you able to interact with the students?
Yes. How has been your experience as far as that, as far as forming kind of a community of students in the class?
It has been great. I met up with some of the other students after class, and we have become good friends. We're thinking of setting up a Zoom meeting outside of biology so we can have more time to just be together as friends and not be studying biology. But I've loved biology, and I'm super glad for the opportunity it has made for me to make new friends. I think it's great.
Excellent. Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much for that. What books or resources will be used for Spanish? Rule, this is for you.
So still working on the textbook. The current situation I'm in, we use an online textbook. I'm not sure of the cost for it. It's like a whole program that comes together, but I'm looking, basically we'll have a textbook to kind of guide and direct our learning, but we do translations every day. So I actually take classics like Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tales or Aesop's fables, stories they're familiar with. And they learn to translate documents, the Declaration of Independence that they're familiar with, translating every day. They will be using cultural videos, history of 20 different countries, the food, the clothing, the dress. So there'll be lots of short videos so they can get to know the people and fall in love with them. If they fall in love with them, they might be more motivated to learn the language. Lots of different exercises. The focus is going to be on speaking. So I've got to learn about the Mighty Networks technology, where they will give me videos where they're reading, they're speaking, they're practicing scripts, even with each other. And then I can give them feedback on pronunciation and so forth. Lots of memorization of phrases. Again, the goal is for them to see the value quickly of speaking, but they're going to learn how to read and translate virtually every single day. A lot of fun.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Kristen asks, has anyone been reimbursed these classes through My Tech High? Yes. Okay. As far as I know, several families have been successful at getting reimbursement for these classes that way.
Yeah, we did it through, we were reimbursed through My Tech High this year for like about half the year. I was talking to my mom and she said there might be some problems this coming year since we're going to be focusing on like relating it to the gospel more and like some religious classes, and My Tech High won't pay for a religious class. So depending on how that's written up, it may not, you may not be able to use My Tech High. So
yeah,
there's that.
So that is something that we are aware of. Okay, and so what we do, okay, is basically keep the course description very on the level, okay, very general, very academic.
The story of liberty brings in a lot of religion because the Catholics and the Protestants are involved in it, but I'm not going to emphasize that.
That's right. So but we are still going to have the course description that way, and then in class we are certainly going to do class.
Thank you, because I think it's great you focus on religion, but My Tech High won't pay for that.
That's right. Yes, I am aware. And in fact, I had to kind of change a couple of descriptions in the course. If I remember correctly, at the beginning of the year, the biology course had, biology and, it had kind of like a tagline that says, appreciating God's creation of all creatures, great and small, or something like that, And so My Tech High said, no, we cannot do that. And so I just took the tagline off. The course hasn't changed anything. We are still appreciating the God's creations in all things. Okay, but we don't have it in the tagline. So
I can just shorten my title to Discovering True Identity. How about that?
Yes, your true identity. So yeah, that is right. All right, excellent. All right, let me see. Kristen's question. Yeah, so the reimbursement with My Tech High is a good possibility. Okay, and most families have been successful at that. And one of the things that I'm trying to do again for this next year is to actually produce a receipt for those who register in the yearly registration. So it has the actual, course description and the name and so on. So it's easier for you to process the reimbursement. Okay. So let's see if I want to do third party, would I need to do the live? But if you do the custom build, can you leave or I don't understand. Jen is making a message and I didn't get it. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, sorry, I needed to plug in my computer. All right, so let's see if there's any other questions. Are there any hands-on things that the students will be encouraged to do outside of class? Yes, and depending on the class, we do outside things on the classes. In the biology course, the students have learned and experimented making yogurt, making pickles, okay, sourdough bread, and what else have we made in biology? So there has been some other things. Okay.
Butter. I remember butter, and there's something else too.
Yeah. Yeah, butter. That was, we follow rules, admonition. By their food you shall know them. So yes, and in physics also we have had some experiments that the students do in order to be able to apply the concepts that they are learning. Okay. Thank you, Marcy, for your comments. Okay. Let's see if how long will the self-paced courses be available. The self-paced courses also are available for a 1 year time. Okay, so if you register for the self-paced course, you have 1 year from the time of registration. Okay. Where can we reach out to the specific teachers about their different classes with questions we may specifically have? For that, the best way is going to be in this pre-registration places. Okay, so that is going to be the place to start doing that. Okay. Jared, you are curious about the anatomy and physiology course. That is going to be, that is a really, really fun course and is very, very informative. And we have during the classes, we have some fantastic discussions. Okay. Hi, you put there your personal contact information. So if you need to communicate directly with any of the teachers, we can put also our contact information here in the chat, email and phone number. So that is great. Kizzy agrees with Megan about the social interactions. Yes. Okay. I love that. Okay. All right. One of all these courses are so good that many times people say, I want to take them all. Okay, well, just pace yourself. Okay, there's plenty of opportunity. All right. So the best thing is we don't want anyone to get burned out. Okay, that is my main thing. So I don't want you to think that you have to sign up for too many of the courses. It's better to really pace yourselves. All right, excellent. So here I finished. I reached the end of the chat.
There's one question about the Story of Liberty and the 5,000 Year Leap course, and how do we choose between them? One is going to be basically more of a history, telling the stories of liberty. The 5,000-year leap will be principles that will start in the home, start in the individual, and then go out into government. And then, of course, basically what the founders saw, examples there, and lots of current event application. Whereas, again, story of liberty, we're going to go back to the Old Testament, and we're going to tell the stories of how that torch was passed along from generation to generation. I'm going to lean on Marlene, no pun intended, for great, again, stories that I'm not familiar with along the way. I don't know if that helps. Does that help answer the question?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Excellent. That is such a fascinating course, really. So fantastic. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. I really appreciate your joining in this meeting. Okay. I appreciate all your questions, and I hope that we can be of service to you and your family. All right. So I'm going to stop the recording here. All right.